Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another class in English. I'm Anurita, and today we are going to do argumentative essays. We have done descriptive, we have done narrative, and now we come to argumentative. So what are argumentative essays? As the name itself suggests, you have to argue your side. But the little difference here is you have to pick a side. In case you are talking or giving your opinion against something, then you cannot give it for. You have to choose whether you are in favor of a particular topic or against a particular topic. What are the important things that you must remember while penning an argumentative essay? Because again, what happens is, in case we agree with something on 2 or 3 points, we might easily disagree on 1 or 2 points. That is how the human mind works. Because generally the human mind feels that nothing is entirely wrong and nothing is entirely right. However, when you put up a debate, which is an oral, organized, and conditioned argument, then you have to choose a side. In the same manner, in argumentative essays also, you have to choose one side. Right. So what are the things to remember? We are going to do the structure of an essay. Structures are very similar in descriptive essays, in narrative essays, in discursive essays. However, let us do them once again. There may be differences that you need to know. So, argumentative essay and the structure of an argumentative essay. Right. Points to keep in mind, although this is not very visible, but this is actually points. Points to remember. Okay. So what are the points to remember, to keep in mind in case you choose to write on an argumentative essay? The most common type of argumentative essays may have 5 to 6 paragraphs. How many paragraphs should a typical argumentative essay at ISC level have? Typically 5 to 6 paragraphs, depending on how much you want to write and how many points do you want to club in or separate. In between are the body paragraphs where you must do 3 things. Supply arguments to make the reader agree with your opinion about a controversial topic. So there are 3 things that you need to do. With what purpose? To make the reader agree. All right? You have to put forward arguments to make the reader agree with your opinion. What are the 3 things have been mentioned in the next paragraph? You have to. Number 1, state your opinion. Now, any kind of declaration, claim, belief, thought has to be mentioned right in the first paragraph. State your opinion, give your reasons to support your opinion. Very briefly, you shall give your reasons. Bunch them up in the introductory paragraph. Argue against the opposite opinion. And in the body matter itself, there is 1 paragraph which will be dedicated to counter people who might be for the topic. You may counter them on 1 point or on 2 points. How will we do that? We shall learn. Overall, you must convince the audience that your side of the argument is correct. An argumentative essay must strongly speak for your opinion. Any kind of opinion that you put forward has to be a strong point, a strong statement that you might want to make, and then give reasons for it. What else? Argue against the opposite opinion. Overall, you must convince the audience that your side of the argument is correct. It must include your viewpoint and the opposing viewpoint or counter argument. Unless and until you do not do that well, your essay will not fetch you many marks. हर एक अच्छी डिबेट में रिबटल के पॉइंट्स होते हैं. जब आप अपने ओपोनेंट्स को किसी एक पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट पे क्वेश्चन कर देते हैं या आप उनके पॉइंट को अपने काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट से फीका कर देते हैं. It must include your viewpoint and the opposing viewpoint or counter argument. Even though you are arguing only one side of an issue, you must think about what the other side would have to say about your opinion. So, what does this indicate? It indicates that when we decide to select from the list of essays that we want to take up an argumentative essay, we must ensure that we have 5 to 6 points that we know about that topic. 5 to 6 things that we can speak for or against. If you are not sure about that, it is better not to pick up an argumentative essay. However, let me tell you that argumentative essays can also be very scoring. So, what is the key to be able to debate or argue your points? It is you must read a lot about current affairs. What is taking the world by storm? These are the kind of topics that you must keep in mind. What is it that affects India, that affects the world, that affects a student, that affects the public of India? Such are the topics that are generally taken here. Now, let us come first to the first paragraph, which is always, as always, the introduction. All right. So the introduction will be paragraph 1. How should it begin? It should begin, let me enlarge it for you a little more so that it is clear. It should begin typically with a hook or connecting statement. Now, the hook statement, let's pay attention on this, the hook statement or the opening statement, we can also call it the opening statement, must be powerful. It must make an impression on the reader. So your opening statement cannot be weak. It cannot be a very general thing that you say. It has to have an impact of a sort that will stimulate the reader to move ahead. For the first paragraph, you must have background information, and that is how you will be able to put forward your points in a cluster of 1 or 2 sentences. For example, you may have 2 to 3 points to talk about for the notion. For example, I say, student's life is a bed of roses. You may agree with it, you may not. You might say, no, I don't agree. First of all, a student's life is full of stress. There is too much of work. There is hardly any time for any kind of sporting activities left nowadays. You might also come up with more points saying that it is as if there are no more children. Coaching's parents and school has completely finished childhood. So these are the points we are talking against. Some may have points to speak for, and that is again where they shall be clustered, provided you have the background information to give. Your main idea will be revealed in the introduction. What is your idea? You might say, as an opening sentence, the golden period of any human being is the school days. Student life is by far the best children ever experience before they become adults burdened with responsibility. Now you're speaking completely for the topic. Feel yes. Of course, student life is a bed of roses. Then you must have background points. You must look into the background of a child in relation to the school. And then you should have a forwarding statement, of course, that will bring you to a thesis statement or a forwarding statement. What is going to be a thesis statement? You're going to say, okay, this is what I'm going to elaborate upon. Over here, thesis statement actually means a linking statement. A linking statement that will link you to the thesis, the discussion, the arguments that you want to give, the details. Paragraph 2, of course, you begin your arguments. So your first of all, you must understand, when you put up your points in the introductory paragraph, you have to ensure that you have planned your points. Because on each point, a paragraph depends. And as we've already discussed, the essay has to be of at least 5 to 6 paragraphs on an average. So 1, you have to support your statement. The statement that you made first, you will give the explanation, detail, you may also give an example. Then we come to yet another point. If you want to state 2 points in the first paragraph, you may go ahead and do that. Support point number 1, support point number 2. First reason, second reason, followed by explanation, and you may give a little detail. Then paragraph number 4. You may put up the third reason. You may give the explanation, detail, and example. Now, you already have the first introductory paragraph, the second paragraph that starts forming the body, the third paragraph that is again a part of the body, and the fourth paragraph. If you have more reasons to give, you can still give more reasons. Let us come to the last paragraph of the body. You may have the fourth paragraph as the last, or you may have the fifth paragraph as the last, depending on the number of points you want to put forward. आपके body and matter को cover करने के लिए, आपके thoughts को cover करने के लिए 3 से 4 paragraphs हो सकते हैं. या तो आप 3 paragraphs में उनको कर दीजिए या 4. पर आपकी body का last paragraph किस चीज का होना चाहिए, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Let's understand. This is the last paragraph before we have the conclusion. So, the last paragraph, here it is the 5th, but you can have it as the 4th paragraph also. It should have an opposite side counter argument. If one person said, for the notion, that there is no time for students anymore. A student's life is no more a bed of roses, because a student hardly gets time to sleep in his bed anymore. He's always working, always cramming, always giving tests, running to coachings. All right? But on the other hand, the person, so if I'm for the topic, I'm going to say that many may believe that students are involved in so many activities related to academics that their childhood is finished. However, I would want to tell that perhaps this overwork, overstress and overtime in academics is may only be due to bad planning. These people perhaps do not know how to manage and plan their time for their own comfort and effective learning. So I can put up a point. Refutation, I can refute. Okay? And I can refute again. मैं अगर एक पॉइंट रिफ्यूट करना चाहती हूँ तो एक पॉइंट, दो पॉइंट्स रिफ्यूट करना चाहती हूँ तो दो, डिपेंडिंग कि मैंने किस टाइप के पॉइंट्स लिख रखे हैं. In the conclusion, repeat your thesis statement. Your thesis statement, the topic, that is why, given on, based on all the reasons and arguments that I have mentioned, I believe this or I believe that. Repeat your thesis statement in different words. All right? You can use different words. Your conclusion should also have, one, it should be a repetition of your thesis or what you believe in. Number two, you can give suggestions. In case I am for the notion that a student's life is a bed of roses, I may give suggestions that I would suggest and advise my hard-working students that plan your time well, know your course properly, and find time for sports and to help around the house. These might be my suggestions. What is my opinion? What opinion do I have? I can say that childhood is the most happening time of life. Childhood and student life is a time when an individual is at his energetic best and can accomplish just anything, as sky is the limit. And prediction for the future. What kind of prediction would you give? You can say, as I am a student also, I firmly believe in what I say, and therefore I have decided for myself this. Or you can say that in case students manage their time well and do not crib over spilt milk all the time, then a lot more can be accomplished. ये आपका prediction है future के लिए. So in this manner, you can structure your essay. The only difference between descriptive narrative on one side and argumentative on the other is that in the body and matter, where you're going to discuss your argument in detail, you have to dedicate the last paragraph of the body before the conclusion to give a counter argument in order to prove your case. Now, we have learned quite a bit about this, the structure of an argumentative essay. I hope it makes a few things clear for you. You can please go back, review the video recording again and again, and understand the nuances of writing a proper argumentative essay. With this, we come to the end of structure, and we shall meet very soon with a sample of the argumentative essay. Stay tuned for more, and God bless.